After my 3 favorite games of 2024 video, it's time for the games that disappointed me the most. In order to be disappointed, one needs to have expectations, and while I managed to not have absolutely any expectations for new IPs to make the reviews more fair and objective, it's almost impossible not to expect at least something out of the sequels, because there was a predecessor that created some expectations and references. Not necessarily expecting a better game, but at least having an inkling how the sequel could potentially be, even a little bit. On this list, only one game is truly bad, as this is not worst games list, but just games that should have been better, based on the success of its predecessors and time in between to perfect the formula. Instead, we got sequels that did nothing for their franchises, you indifferent bastards. Let's get to number 3, which is Stalker 2. I played Stalker 1 a bit a long time ago when it was released, but never really understood what the hype was about then, and still can't understand what is the basis of the popularity of this game after the sequel. Some have said that it's about the mods that made the first game so popular. Could be, as I've only played the vanilla version of the first game and ditched it fast. Same with Stalker 2 after a couple dozen hours. It's just not good. Developers have been pushing out 100 GB patches to fix their game, and I really hope they eventually do wonders with the game because it has tons of potential if the fixes and updates change a lot of the things. From a technical standpoint, it's a mess. Monsters are terribly clunky and ruin the atmosphere instead of improving one. Enemies have weird AI where they spot the player from half a world away. Enemy respawn mechanic is atrocious as they respawn too frequently. Supposed to be a survival game of sorts with soldier type gameplay, but no night vision goggles for, night and stuff. There's a ton of things wrong with it, and it's a shame because a game like Stalker 2 has insane potential. Anomalies create a more interesting world as it also adds a different gameplay dynamic. In my opinion, how Slavic NPCs are done is fantastic. Story is good, gunplay is alright, stealth in buildings can be incredibly atmospheric and immersive. Well, at least developers have war as an excuse, unlike other two games on the list. One of the developers died on the battlefield defending their country. It seems from the few articles that I've read that the developer team relocated to the Czech Republic early when the war started, which was also a logistical problem on its own, but at least it gave them a stable foothold. I would love to see Stalker 2 improve significantly over the next year or so to reach even a bit of its potential, because it's definitely there. It's just some of the creative design decisions and designs are so bad it hurts the game a lot. After a year or so, I'll try the game again to see what's been happening. Game that disappointed me far more and firmly holds second place is Dragon's Dogma 2. Not a bad game, same as Stalker 2, but at the time I was playing it, which is the first month after the release, it was a mediocre to decent game and not much more. Blatant copy-paste job from Dragon's Dogma 1, a game I've played a long time ago and liked for its unique approach. Outside of the secret ending that creates a whole other world with the different enemies, which would be a great sequel if it was about that, Dragon's Dogma 2 went with a graphically improved copy-paste job. Game looks great and has good combat, but that's it. What it does amazing, however, is waste players' time on all fronts. It's infuriating. There are only a few fast travel points in the whole world map that is big with beautiful looking locations, so prepare to walk a lot. Fight the same enemies a lot. Bigger enemies take a lot of time to beat, which wouldn't be a problem if the encounters weren't predictable and repetitive after a while. Exploration is hit and miss. Some of the time you'll find unique gear after going through the unique cave or dwelling, and that's the good part of exploration. Bad part is that a lot of the time rewards in chests are so randomly bad it's laughable. A goddamn apple after defeating I don't know how many enemies. Oh, and the inventory and weight management, Jesus fucking Christ, one of the worst I've seen. It slows down the progression so much and not in a good way. I really hope they improved this with patches, because if they didn't and you really wanna play the game, play it on PC and install no wait mode or something. Every 3 flowers you pick up the character becomes overburdened. What the fuck? I couldn't believe how something with such huge potential could be destroyed with so many bad design decisions. If Dragon's Dogma 2 was a book, it would be a lot of pointless drivel with very little substance. Major problem with this game is that it doesn't have the content quality required to supplement this huge world and the idea of so much on-foot traveling with mixed results exploration. Also not enough enemy variety to make it more dynamic and diverse. Focus is on all the wrong things because combat is genuinely good, but even that starts to become repetitive after a while. 10% of the time spent with the game is going to be the player doing something substantial, while the other 90% is a waste of time that could have been sorted out much better. I truly think Dragon's Dogma 2 with a more capable developer team with better ideas could have been Game of the Year. Unfortunately, we got a very basic game with good combat and great visuals. Though nothing could prepare me for the disappointment that was Dragon Age Veilguard. Holy shit. Stalker 2 and Dragon's Dogma 2 are masterpieces compared to Veilguard. Look, I know BioWare was long lost to pink-haired, gender-driven people, but they still could create some good parts in games. Andromeda had a decent combat, Anthem had a beautiful lush world, despite both games failing hard in terms of quality. So even though I never expected Veilguard to be good, at least I thought it could be mediocre at worst. Oh boy, was I wrong. I'm rarely shocked by games, but Veilguard managed to do it. More than a few times I was staring at the monitor with eyes and mouth wide open how unbelievably bad some of the aspects of this game are. Dialogue being at the forefront. It's drivel. It's a pointless filler drivel that a lot of the time doesn't even make sense. People, it's that bad. I don't recall once in my life, though mind you my memory is terrible, being so shocked at writing throughout the whole experience. I've played the game for about 10 hours and said fuck this, burn it, never again. Nothing is good about this game, nothing, not even combat. Some might try to convince you that combat is good, it's not. Only arguments for combat being good, which isn't really an argument, so far that I've read are I like it, so it's good. That thinking is at a preschool level, same like Veilguard's writing. Terribly designed enemies with no AI and 2 attacks in their arsenal, terrible combat and counter group setups, our companions can't die, which removes any sort of tactical element, armor mechanic that just prolongs combat, terrible equipment weight design that allows heavily armored and shielded character to jump and move around like a rabbit, all accompanied by at times complete breakdown of animations where whole combat briefly plays out like an indie game. Putting combat aside, it's an action RPG that does everything it can to be classified as an RPG, but does very little to actually be one. Dialogue choices and options are pointless a lot of the time. Cities and locations are dead. There's no real quests. It's shit. It's just shit on almost every conceivable level. Well, combat is not shit thankfully, but it's not good either. I feel bad for people buying and playing it, convincing themselves there is anything remotely interesting and good about Veilguard because they got fooled and spent their money on such a product. It's fine enjoying bad games, as long as you know it's a bad game. Liking and disliking is an entirely subjective concept. Anyone can like a bad game or not like a good game. Problem is when people convince themselves that it's a good game when it isn't. Imagine having absolutely no critical thinking whatsoever to get to even think that Veilguard is good. That's scary to me. I would advise anyone that thinks Veilguard is good to start paying attention more to their life by becoming more observant about their surroundings and people in their lives, because you are not seeing things and people as they are. Then again, ignorance is bliss, I guess, until it starts to affect you negatively. Either way, just stay clear of this agenda-driven crap that is a disgrace for the Dragon Age franchise, even more so than Dragon Age 2, that at least had some good things about it. That's all for this video. In the description there's Patreon, subscribes, our merch and so on. Thanks for watching.